or shots would you say took the most time to perfect in your career? And how did you approach the technical process to master them?
A few of them, some for everyone. As I think everyone has challenges on perfection.
Have you ever wondered what it feels like for one of the greatest athletes in history to walk through the story of his biggest rival? Imagine Roger Federer stepping inside the brand new Rafa Nadal Museum, surrounded by memories that shaped one of tennis's greatest champions. Every trophy, every photograph, every unforgettable moment tells a story, not just about Rafael Nadal, but about one of the greatest rivalries sports has ever witnessed. And what makes this visit so fascinating isn't simply that Federer toured the museum. It's what this moment represents for millions of tennis fans around the world. After years of unforgettable battles, countless Grand Slam finals, and a friendship that grew stronger with every season, seeing Roger Federer experience the museum dedicated to Rafael Nadal feels like the perfect new chapter in the incredible story of Fedel. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because we bring you the biggest stories from the world of tennis every week. Now here's the question every tennis fan should ask. What happens when one legend walks through the life story of another legend? The answer is far more emotional than many expected. Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal have shared a relationship unlike anything modern tennis has ever seen. They first met as competitors, quickly becoming fierce rivals who pushed each other to levels that many believed were impossible. Federer dominated the sport with elegance and precision, while Nadal built his legacy through relentless determination, unmatched fighting spirit, and incredible resilience. Every time they stepped onto the court together, history seemed to unfold in real time. Their rivalry produced unforgettable matches at Wimbledon, Roland Garros, the Australian Open, and countless Masters events. Fans debated endlessly about who was the greatest, yet both players continued to show enormous respect for each other despite competing for the biggest trophies in the sport. That mutual respect gradually transformed into genuine friendship, creating one of the most admired relationships in all of sports. Over the years, Federer often praised Nadal's humility and work ethic, while Nadal consistently described Federer as an inspiration and a gentleman of the game. Their emotional embrace after the 2022 Laver Cup remains one of the most iconic moments in tennis history, reminding the world that even the fiercest rivals can become lifelong friends. Fast forward to today, and the story continues in a completely different setting. Instead of meeting across the net with thousands of fans watching every point, Federer recently visited the new Rafa Nadal Museum, a place designed to celebrate Nadal's remarkable career and inspire future generations. Walking through the museum means stepping into decades of unforgettable achievements. Every display represents years of sacrifice, countless hours of training, heartbreaking defeats, incredible victories, and moments that changed tennis forever. Visitors can explore Grand Slam trophies, championship memorabilia, historic photographs, personal items, interactive exhibits, and inspiring stories that highlight Nadal's journey from a determined young player in Mallorca to one of the greatest champions the sport has ever known. For Federer, this wasn't simply a museum visit. It was an opportunity to witness the incredible legacy built by someone who spent nearly 2 decades challenging him on the biggest stages in tennis. Imagine seeing the trophies you once competed against now standing together as symbols of sporting greatness. Imagine recognizing photographs from matches you personally experienced, remembering every rally, every championship point, every handshake at the net. Those memories are more than history. They represent an era that transformed tennis forever. Fans who followed the visit couldn't help but reflect on how much both players have given to the sport. They inspired millions of young athletes, elevated the popularity of tennis across the globe, and demonstrated that fierce competition can exist alongside deep respect. That combination is incredibly rare in modern sports. As Federer continued exploring the museum, each exhibit served as another reminder that greatness isn't measured only by titles. It's measured by the impact you leave on people, the inspiration you provide to future generations, and the relationships you build throughout your journey. Perhaps that's why this visit resonated so strongly with tennis fans. It wasn't about statistics or rankings. It wasn't about comparing Grand Slam totals or debating who had the better career. Instead, it became a celebration of shared history, mutual admiration, and a friendship that continues long after their greatest battles ended. But here's where the story becomes even more meaningful. What specific moments inside the museum attracted Federer's attention? Which displays best captured the extraordinary journey that defined Rafael Nadal's career? And why are so many fans calling this one of the most heartwarming tennis moments of the year? Those answers reveal why this visit has become far more significant than anyone initially expected. As Roger Federer continued walking through the Rafa Nadal Museum, every room seemed to tell a different chapter of a story that tennis fans know by heart. There were displays celebrating Grand Slam victories, memorable tournaments, and the relentless journey that transformed a young boy from Mallorca into one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. For most visitors, these exhibits are fascinating pieces of sports history. But for Federer, many of these moments weren't simply history, they were memories he personally lived. Behind countless trophies were matches they played against each other, championships they fought for, and moments that shaped both of their careers. That perspective makes this visit different from any ordinary museum tour. It wasn't just about looking at achievements, it was about reflecting on an era that changed tennis forever. One of the most remarkable aspects of the museum is how it doesn't simply celebrate victories. It also highlights the dedication, discipline, and resilience that defined Nadal's career. Throughout the years, Nadal overcame numerous injuries, difficult comebacks, and intense competition while continuing to perform at the highest level. His determination inspired millions of fans around the world. Federer understands that journey better than almost anyone because he witnessed it from the opposite side of the net. Every comeback Nadal made created another challenge, another unforgettable match, and another chapter in one of the greatest rivalries in sports history. Isn't it amazing that two competitors who spent years trying to defeat each other ultimately became two of each other's biggest supporters? The museum also reminds visitors that tennis is about far more than winning titles. It is about perseverance, respect, and inspiring future generations. Those values perfectly describe what Federer and Nadal have represented throughout their careers. While fans often argued over who deserved the title of greatest player, the two legends consistently showed admiration for one another. They congratulated each other's victories, respected each other's achievements, and demonstrated that fierce competition doesn't have to create hostility. In today's sports world, where rivalries can sometimes become personal, their relationship stands as an example of true sportsmanship. As news of Federer's visit spread across social media, tennis fans everywhere shared their excitement. Many called it another unforgettable fetal moment, while others reflected on how fortunate they were to witness both legends compete during the same era. Countless fans posted memories of classic matches like the 2008 Wimbledon final, the 2017 Australian Open final, and many other unforgettable encounters that defined an entire generation of tennis. Those matches weren't simply contests for trophies, they became moments that united millions of fans across different countries and generations. Perhaps the most emotional part of this story is realizing how both players continue to inspire people even after stepping away from regular competition. Federer retired in 2022, and his emotional farewell at the Laver Cup remains one of the most memorable moments in tennis history. Sitting beside Nadal, both legends were seen in tears as they reflected on everything they had experienced together. That image became symbolic of their extraordinary friendship. Years earlier, few could have imagined that the greatest rivals of their generation would one day become symbols of mutual respect and lifelong admiration. Now, seeing Federer visit a museum dedicated to Nadal feels like another beautiful chapter in that story. It reminds us that while records may eventually be broken and new champions will certainly emerge, some rivalries become timeless. The names Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal will forever be connected because they pushed each other to achieve greatness. Without Federer, Nadal's journey would have looked very different. Without Nadal, Federer might never have reached the same extraordinary heights. Together, they elevated tennis to a level that captivated audiences around the globe. Walking through the museum also sends an important message to young athletes. Success is not measured only by championships. It is measured by character, humility, consistency, and the respect you earn from your competitors. Federer and Nadal have always embodied those qualities. Their legacy extends beyond statistics because they changed how people think about competition. They proved that you can fight with everything you have on the court while treating your opponent with kindness and dignity once the match is over. So, what should fans take away from this remarkable visit? Perhaps it is the realization that the greatest stories in sports are not always written during competition. Sometimes they are written years later through gestures of respect, friendship, and appreciation. Federer's visit to the Rafa Nadal Museum wasn't about headlines or controversy. It was about honoring a remarkable career and celebrating a friendship that has inspired millions around the world. As tennis enters a new generation led by exciting stars, the legacy of Federer and Nadal continues to serve as a benchmark for excellence. Their matches will be replayed for decades, their achievements will inspire future champions, and moments like this museum visit will remind fans why the feudal era remains one of the greatest periods in the history of sport. Every trophy displayed inside the museum tells part of Nadal's story, but together they also tell the story of an unforgettable rivalry that made both men legends. Before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Which Federer versus Nadal match is your all-time favorite, and do you think we'll ever witness another rivalry as legendary as feudal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story and want more emotional tennis features, behind-the-scenes moments, and the biggest updates from the world of tennis, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.